welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm talking about, this is part 2 of my labor and delivery story, so don't mind seeing me the same clothes. Actually today I filmed 3 videos. I filmed cleaning my bathroom, I filmed labor and delivery for my daughter, and now I'm filming labor and delivery for my son. So it's the same day, so if you see me the same clothes for 3 videos, it's the same day, but I decided to film 3 videos because that's what suits me. So labor and delivery of my son. This time round, at least I knew what was coming for me, so I was not that scared as of the first time. So this time things were a bit different. So at about 26 weeks, unfortunately, I started that this one not Braxton Hicks. I started having contractions again. So the same story. I don't know why this always happens to me. This time around, I didn't decide to go cold turkey and say I'm pulling through. This time, once I started feeling the contractions, I told my husband, and as usual, I also packed my hospital bag just in case they say I have to have an emergency C-section, so I'm ready. So I packed hospital bag, went to the hospital. At the hospital, I was told I'm having contractions and they really don't know why, because my cervix was not dilated. I was not having, my blood was okay, my oxygen was okay, my blood pressure was okay, so they couldn't find what was causing these contractions. So they said I have to be admitted in the hospital. And this time they had to monitor me every half an hour because they said 26 weeks, it's too early. The baby might survive out of the womb, but it's going to be a bit tricky. So this time around I received injections so that in case they have to do an emergency C-section, my baby's lungs will be fully formed, so that if maybe my son comes out this early with 26 weeks, he may have a chance of survival. So I received, there were actually 2 injections. These were to help my son's lungs to grow. And also this time I stayed in the hospital for 2 good weeks, and I had to go to have complete bed rest. So these 2 weeks I was not allowed to move, I was not allowed to walk, I was allowed just to move, but not so much because I had to have complete bed rest. So after these 2 weeks by the time I left the hospital, I was 27 and a half, 28 weeks there. So, and I was told complete bed rest. So I said, okay. So this time around, because I had already had my daughter, I decided to invite my sister to come over. My sister to come over to help me with the baby, with my daughter, when I have to go to the hospital. By my son, I was, I think 39 and a half weeks. That was 2 days to the EDD for my son. And this was the day my sister was supposed to come to fly in from Kenya. She was supposed to fly in from Kenya to Austria. So she landed safely, took a train to where we stay. So and this day in the morning, I started feeling the contractions. I was like, oh my God, I'm not telling my husband. So the contractions came, and still I had to get up, get my daughter ready, had to clean the house, I had to do this and that because we had to go and pick my sister from the airport, from the train station. So I finished up, then we still went for shopping for the house things we need, because I knew it was saying, oh, if this is it, then at least they have things at home to eat when I'm in the hospital. So we went to the supermarket, we bought stuff we need. By this time, the contractions were about 10 minutes apart. This time I was timing them. I became kluger. Ein bisschen kluger vorher. It became a bit cleverer. Cleverer. Yeah, cleverer. So I was counting, they were 10 minutes apart. So we came home, I put the grocery away, fed my daughter. That was around midday. Then we left to the train station to pick my sister up. By the time we were doing all this, the contractions were now 5 minutes apart. But they say if you can talk through the pain, you're okay, you're good to go. I was happy to see my sister because I wanted that she at least, my daughter gets to familiarize herself with my sister, so that when I have to go, then they don't have problems here that my daughter is disturbing or crying or not. So we came home, we chatted a bit with my sister, we catched up, and at around 5 5 in the evening, that's the time where I always cook dinner. So I cooked dinner, and this time the contraction was 3 minutes apart. And I was telling my husband, okay, I'm hungry. I want to eat before we go. And my husband was like, no, das kommt nicht in Frage. Wir fahren sofort. Ab ins Auto. And I was like, I'm hungry, I want to eat. And my husband was like, no, we're driving now. So I sadly had to leave the food there. And I told my girl goodbye, and I told my sister goodbye. And we went to the hospital. And it was around 6:30. I was really hungry. So hospital bag in the car, we headed to the hospital. So we got there, the nurse in charge said, you're talking through the pain, you're still good to go. But they still had to admit me. The second pregnancy, it goes faster, the labor and delivery goes faster than in the first. Let's say active labor. Active labor by my daughter was almost 10 to 12 hours, and active labor by my son was about 4-5 hours. 4 hours actually. So we got to the hospital, we left the house at 5:30, we got to the hospital at 6, and I was admitted to the labor and delivery ward. This time, like before, but this time around, my water broke. They didn't have to break my water because it was not so complicated like by my daughter. So my water broke by itself, and it's a warm gush, just whoosh. You can hear it pops. You can hear the pop and then how it comes out. So it popped, and then after about 10 minutes, let me tell you, the pain started again. I'm telling you, it's just like, oh my goodness, here we go again. But I was telling myself, what am I supposed to do? Nothing. And I told my husband, it is your fault. Again, I yelled at him. I squeezed his hand. I'm telling you, I think this time he had a bit of bruises because I was really grabbing his upper arm. So again, I decided the epidural. Let's get the epidural. But the nurse this time was a little bit, I didn't get a really nice nurse. The nurse by my daughter was really nice, but this one for my son, she was keep telling me, you can do it, Yvonne, go through it, you can do it. Other parents do without epidural. And I was like, I cannot do it, please give me the epidural. And she was like, okay, she gave in. And then in the next room, there was also a lady giving birth, and I was hearing the screams on there. And I was like, oh my goodness, here we go again. But then, the it's a complicated name. He was called, he came again, the same, fetal position, and put the needle in. But this time, shock on me, my epidural did not work. I tried adding, it did not work. I said, okay, this time, cold turkey, we're going strong. I'm telling you, the parents who give birth natural, I'm telling you, hats off to you, or rather hats off to us, because this time my epidural failed me big time, and again, it didn't work. I'm telling you, the pain, the pain. Actually, the pain is, it's bearable, but when you get to the ring of fire, I'm telling you, it's a ring of fire. The pain, I started shaking from the pain. I was really shaking. I was trembling. And this time, they were putting a cold towel on my head to try and help, but So, the head, this time I pushed for my son, I pushed for almost 10 minutes because he was just not coming out. So I pushed, and they saw the head, and they say, okay, push. And then came the worst part, the shoulders. You feel like, I don't know, you feel like you're leaving your body. That was, oh my goodness. You feel like you're leaving your body, and you just, So the time came for the shoulders came out, and then after it came out, you just it was over. But then once my son was born, the pain was completely gone. I'm telling you, it was worth it. The pain was completely gone. So as usual, they gave me my son, and we cried again. And then again they gave me a few minutes. Then they had to give birth to the placenta. So I pushed the placenta out and then cut the cord. And my son was born exactly at midnight. But it's the hospital policies, they can't put midnight as date of birth. So they told us to choose. You either choose 11:59 or to choose 12:01. So we chose 12:01. So and that's that. Again, hospital 3 days, but this time I didn't tear. I had no tear at all, thank God. So we stayed in the hospital for 3 days, and then we went home. And then this time also the midwife came. I had no problem breastfeeding. My baby latched well. I think it's because I knew how to latch him well, because this time I had a little bit of experience from my daughter. So my baby was latching well, he was gaining weight well, and yeah, that's the labor and delivery story of my son. I'm telling you, natural birth, I know it's painful, it's scary, because you hear it's painful. I'm not going to lie. Natural birth is painful. Giving birth without epidural is painful. But I'm saying, do you? If you prefer getting the epidural, do the epidural. Nobody's going to penalize, or rather criticize you for that. If you prefer going natural way, you do the natural way, do you. The only downside with the epidural is if the needle goes in the false place, you can end up being paralyzed. Didn't happen to me, thank God. Or if the needle, after the epidural and after a while, then you're going to have to deal with back pains. Did happen to me also. So I was lucky, and I'm saying I was lucky that I experienced both epidural and both natural labor. So yeah, that's the end of my part 2 of the labor and delivery story. I hope you really enjoyed today's vlog, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your support. I'm going to always thank you so much for your support. It means a lot to me. You don't know how much that means to me. So that's it, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.